Decided to drop the E after all. Photoshop uses layers and they have an E in it. It's a thing that I don't own, but without the E I have my branding. Also have this awesome domain name that swapped the E out for a dot and 6-character domain. So layers, creativity from the bottom up. Somebody posts a picture on the internet, it might look like this. And then it's replicated 100,000 times, maybe more, in different ways, all inheriting from the same image. And they're in different places all over the internet. This is another one, it's not even the same picture anymore, it's the same text, but it's associated by the idea. So there's this concept of inheritance in web media, and it's not addressed at all. There's just duplicate stuff all over the place. And layers lets people add layers to media on the internet. So when you see something and you want to add to it, it doesn't necessarily have to be visual content. If it's just relating to something, if it builds on that idea, you can add media over top of it. And here is a demo of how it works. This is the home page. And it's not, oh, that's my code. The home page will respond to screen size, but right now it does so very sketchily. So if I make this go full screen, that didn't refresh, but I'll refresh the page. It says, welcome to the home page. Click the white plus button to add to it. I've now added a picture of exhibit, and I can change the URL of the picture over, oh, technical difficulties again. The URL of the picture over here, or I can change it to change it to a video instead. Oh, that's still an image. I'm going to use the laptop, it's not so laggy. Change it to a video. Video renders in there. And you can resize, rotate, manipulate this in any way. And it's building on top of the home page. So this is the way the home page will actually work. That people can add layers and branches to the homepage. They can fork our homepage just like we fork each other's software projects. Still a bit more PowerPoint to go. And I'm going back to laptop again. So, for making money, it's very important. Creators of original media can access analytics about the ideas that build on top of it. So anybody posts an ad or any type of media you want to learn how people are interacting with it, you can access that data. Media is easier to create, find, and share. And we leverage the platform to gain feedback from users. So they can iterate on our pages just like we can iterate on content online, which is cool. At lay.rs, you'll soon be able to fork our homepage, hopefully in the next week or so. I'm sad that it took me forever to understand MVP, and I blame it on the word or the term MVP. It has 3 independent variables in the acronym itself. The M, the V, and the P. Minimum is something that you need to quantify. Viable, also very vague. And product, like what constitutes a product. It's not really straightforward what an MVP is. But with feedback, I learned that if you start with absolutely nothing, I'm not even providing value right now. So I can't consider it a product. But I'm still iterating on it based on the generosity of the people around me who will try it even though I still think it's garbage. So I wouldn't call it MVP, but it's probably what most people talk about when they use the term MVP. So I'm getting the hang of the feedback loop, and I appreciate all of you and your help with that. Does anybody have any questions?
So people building on an image. So the poster, so there's going to be a user account for the person who posts the original image or the original media. And everybody who adds on that, do they have to have a user account themselves?
Yep.
Okay.
And based on what we learned in the design Google Hangout we had this week, I learned that having no confirmed password is okay. And the only thing I need from users are an email address and a password, maybe a username, but could have pretty well the same sign-up form as login form. So with just 2 or 3 input fields, shouldn't be too much friction to get people to sign up. Maybe I could have people sign up anonymously, but security concerns with letting people post to databases without being authenticated.
Okay. What kind of other user features is it going to have? Is it going to have like the ability to see or anything you've added upon? Is it the ability to see like the original content you put on there? Or I guess by original, the trunk of the tree that it's going to make.
Right. You can see any fork of the layer the plan is that you'll be able to see any fork of the layer you're viewing, and they're all going to be sorted by which ones are the most popular. So you can see the most popular versions of anything that you're looking at, regardless of how far down the tree they go, and search through all that. Also, you'll be able to follow layers and follow users. So if you want to track the activity on a certain piece of media, maybe you're sharing a pitch with your team and you want to see how they're iterating on it, you could do that too.
I'm thinking that's going to turn into a huge time sink for memes. You find one and you just keep going down the branch the whole way.
Oh, I hope so. That's the plan.
So the goal is you're going to build a social network around the game, or the thing, the tool, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. Start with images and memes, things that people are versioning already, and hopefully, if it's really a utility for other reasons, hopefully it can be both.
Can you have transparency in a video?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
In editors,
You should work on that. What?
in editors you can, but you can change the opacity.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, layering a video on top of another video in a way that you could see through parts of the first video.
You can.
A dot layer file, potentially.
Because you could, I mean, if it doesn't exist, it seems like you
Want one?
would have to have that.
Oh, it's definitely like possible. I have like video software I use at home where I can play like videos, like 2 videos at the same time, like overlaid, like transparency.
In video editing software, but once you export it to, like, once you upload it to, that's like a YouTube embed,
Yeah,
right?
porting it to online.
This is video element from HTML5, so I'm using MP4 files, and I'm sure they don't have that property. But if I have to make my own file extension, I think that would be cool anyways. Hopefully it doesn't come to that and somebody else has already done it.
Yeah, just because playing with the video is neat by itself. So if you could do meme-ish stuff with video that we can't currently
That would
do.
be crazy.
That would probably be the entry into, because nobody's doing that or has the ability to do that at all.
Yeah.
Right. I also have GIF memes on lock because like loading GIFs into layers is pretty laggy right now, but there's an API for translating them into MP4 video, so can do the same things you're doing with video with GIFs.
Cool.
Awesome.
Video memes are a really cool
You can
idea.
kind of do it on Snapchat because you can draw.
I'm thinking in terms of, do you remember like those viral videos that were going around for a while and they like turned it into everything, and it was the end of that German movie that was like the downfall of Hitler, and he's screaming at everybody in there. And there was one that was about like an Xbox Live account, and there was one that was about like MySpace. Could you imagine being able to do that on the fly on the internet?
Yeah,
Being able to add your own subtitles throughout, like not just a picture but a whole video.
I was just
Yeah.
saying at the Brian, you could have like, say a new scene starting, like one of the characters to like have a layer on it that's a mustache, like you could dub the whole thing with an audio file. I think that'd be like fun to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully it could be like you hold control and any interaction you do will record. something like that.
Could have like a conversation through video clips, that'd be cool.
All great ideas. So I hope I get feedback like that on the site when you guys hopefully use it and add layers to the homepage. That would be the type of stuff I'd like to hear about, for
I
sure.
had one more question for you, Matt. Just when stuff gets iterated, how do you, like, as just a user, navigate through the iterations? Like, has that been completed yet? Or?
It's what I've struggled with most. And when talk about MVP, it's the thing that really has driven a lot of my development, is building that model. It's the plan is that you see 5 icons at a time for different layers, the top voted ones, and you can jump to the next 5 less voted, go through and click on any one, and when you click on that one, you're now viewing it. You can see its descendants, and they're also sorted by top voted. It looks like an upside down pyramid,
Right,
where
that makes sense.
yeah, the one at the back is the root of the tree, and it expands outward from there.
Yeah.
Same question I asked AJ, and maybe you sort of already started to address it with the coming to terms with the MVP, but is there any feedback or advice that you've gotten in the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Totally, yeah. Gavin had really when he came to visit, he took a look at my design, and it was not MVP then. This was when he came last Friday, and a while later, we were talking on Slack, and he advised that I drop a lot of features, most features that I had planned, and it was to such a point that there wasn't any value for the application. But that was okay, because Gavin and other people at UIT are still going to try it, just because you guys are awesome. I don't know how I would do that if I didn't have access to a resource like kind people. But for now, I can iterate on something that's pretty shitty and get to a point where it's really good.
Cool.
Yeah.